Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we are continuing our series in the Humblewood book. Yes, we have covered all the races that you can be, all the 10 birdfolk and humblefolk that exist in the world, but that's not all that players have for their choices in this book, for there are a few extra subclasses that you can find that fit in with the core classes of D&D. Today we're going to be talking about the Bard from Humblewood, the Bard College of the Road. This is almost the most classic bard I've ever heard of. A bard that wanders the world, learning, sharing stories, and performing on the road. It's quintessential in its nature, and honestly, I'm not sure why it doesn't exist in standard D&D. But the Humblewood module has included it, so we're going to talk about it. Before we get into the details, though, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, but also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button just below the video down there. I'd love to see you in the comments. And if it doesn't, or you can't afford it, that's totally fine. Just liking, subscribing, and watching the videos is the best way you can support me. I really appreciate you, so thank you for watching my content. So the College of the Road is built around a couple key features. First, you get some bonus skill proficiencies. You get a big list to choose from. You can have several proficiencies, and you get to choose 3 from a list of 6. You can have a gaming set, a martial weapon, specifically the herbalism kit or the thieves' tools, any skill of your choice, or a pair of languages. Now, obviously, all of these have some benefit depending on your campaign, but the fact that you can throw a martial weapon of your choice, the thieves kit, the thieves tools, and any skill proficiency, to me those are the top tier picks. The other 3 have their place, but for me, just having the ability to choose those 3 gives this 10 out of 10 properties. This is one of the best openers that any bard subclass has. You also get the Wanderer's Lore feature. When you grant a creature your bardic inspiration die, as long as they have the die and they haven't used it yet, because they can use it within 10 minutes, they gain advantage on their knowledge checks: Arcana, History, Nature, and Religion. Gaining advantage on these checks is a nice thing, especially if you've got a wizard or an artificer or some other intelligence-based character in the party. This just powers them up further. And if you don't have one of those, then this can help whoever does have the highest intelligence possibly make up for that fact. I think this is a decent little power, and I give it 9 out of 10. But then you get the main meat of the subclass, Traveler's Tricks. Traveler's Tricks are, without getting into too much detail, they are features that empower you with the abilities of other classes. At level 3, you can choose 2 of them. Basically, 2 other classes that have instructed you on their abilities. For example, if you got your instruction from a fighter, at level 3 you get a fighting style from a short list. If you got your training from your Traveler's Trick from a monk, you get the ability to make unarmed strikes as powerful as your bardic inspiration and attacking with your dexterity, which is awesome. If you got your instruction from a rogue, you get a pseudo-evasion feature. If you got your instruction from a wizard, then you get a certain ability to change the elemental damage type of one of your evocation spells. And these Traveler's Tricks, you choose 2 at level 3, then you get another one at level 6 and another at level 14. So by the end of the game, you have 4 of them, and each trick improves as you go, granting you further abilities. The Barbarian one, for example, if you do decide to go Barbarian at level 6 instead of 3, their trick gives you the basically the Great Weapon Master feature, where you can take a -5 on a heavy weapon attack and deal a +10 extra damage. That's without the feat, so that is a huge buff if you want to lean into a strength-based bard. These basically say that no matter how you want to build your bard, there are tricks of the trade that the travelers that you've met along the road have taught you, which make you better at it than most other bards, leaning towards the other classes themselves. This is one of the coolest features I've ever seen, and while it's not the most powerful way to build a hyper-focused bard, it grants you more abilities and more versatility both in combat and magic and healing than any other bard I've ever seen. It's phenomenally strong. I give it 10 out of 10. And this just gets improved once you get to the favorite trick feature. Oh, I didn't mention that Traveler's Tricks are something that you activate. You actually turn them on using a Bardic Inspiration point. So once you've done that, then you have the benefits of, for example, one of the Traveler's Tricks you can get is a Warlock one, which gives you an Eldritch Invocation. Cool, but you don't get it all the time. You use a Bardic Inspiration die, actually take a little bit of damage when you do so because Warlock, and then you activate the invocation for X amount of time. The favorite trick actually says that if you have no Bardic Inspirations remaining when you roll initiative, you get one Bardic Inspiration die, which you can only spend on a Traveler's Trick. Now, normally, I'm not a big fan of the whole you're out of inspiration points, and when you roll initiative, you get one, or whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of feature, but the Traveler's Tricks actually make it kind of awesome, because they are longer-lasting abilities. They usually last 10 minutes or longer, and when you use them, they will affect the entire combat that you're in, whether it's a fighting style, or unarmed fighting, or magical buffs, or whatever. Having the ability to just use one in a fight is really, really premier. So I say that it's an 8 out of 10 feature, and it does come in at level 6, which is nice. And then there is no stated level 14 feature, it's just the Traveler's Tricks keep evolving and you get more of them. That is what the entire Road Bard is about, is the Traveler Tricks. I think that this is an example of the bard that is that is so versatile that they almost lose their bardic identity. I mean, they're still a bard. They still have bardic inspiration. They still have jack of all trades. They still have bard magic. All of this stuff is still there, but their subclass isn't very bardy. It's much more like, hey, you get to be a little bit of fighter, a little bit of wizard, a little bit of rogue, a little bit of whatever, without needing to multi-class. And that's the trick here, is that you can lean heavy into your bard and you can get all those features that you would normally need to take feats or multi-class dips for, and you don't have to. You can just stay bard the entire time. And that's a really cool design space to live in. I think overall this bard is a 9 out of 10. It's certainly not the most powerful bard in the game, but it is an answer for almost every playstyle. No matter what you want to do, there's a trick that leans into it, and if you can get behind the charismatic full caster that the bard is, and, most of us can, then whatever other niche you want to fit into, this bard can do it. So, 9 out of 10 for the Road Bard. Very, very cool. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, as well as a link to the Humblewood campaign module, written by the Deck of Many, one of the classic D&D 5e third-party modules, and I highly recommend you check it out for yourself. Have a good one, my friends.